What is up, everybody? Hey, happy Scrim School Day. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys had an incredible Wednesday. Thank you for being here tonight. I am the host, Bobby Socks. I do PvP things, sometimes well, most times I throw epically. But one thing I do really well is I like to, forget to hit the play button first, I like to hang out with crazy gamers, crazy PvP players. Tonight we got some super cool guests. I'm really looking forward to it. Geek is running a little late. He is in the middle of a very serious Warzone game. So after that, he will be over here. So let's bring Nerv in first. Let me undeafen. What is up, Nerv? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Perfect. Mike is running a little bit late. He is in the middle of a Warzone match. He just DM'd me and was like, I'm running late. Can I finish this real quick? It's like, it's your show, bro.
All right, yeah, that sounds good.
So let's start with you. Who are you? What got you into this? Like, what do you do on your free time? This is the chance for viewers to meet you.
All right. Well, first of all, hello. I am a Christian who also goes by Nervous. I got into Destiny pretty casually. I would say it was in D1. First time doing scrims, I think, was on Destiny 2 PC. That was when I got into it, and I met a bunch of cool content creator friends. Blah blah blah. But it's really fun. I've had a lot of fun practicing, getting better, and stuff like that. It's really enjoyable.
We'd love to hear it. All right, everyone's yelling at me right now. I am cranking up the volume a bit more, chat. Let's see if this is a little bit better. There we go. That's awesome. So you actually started back in D1 too. That makes things a little bit easier because some of the questions go back to the D1 days and things you liked and stuff like that from back then versus now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm sure chat's got a bunch of questions for you, but Face It? Let's talk Face It because Mike doesn't play Face It. So, what got you into it? What got you as an admin? Like, what got you as the face of Face It?
Another one.
So, obviously, I like doing scrims. I like playing against other really good players, practicing, stuff like that. Face It's a really good place to do that kind of stuff. It's very challenging, and it's enjoyable to play. But the admin side, I do have a lot of friends who I would say are good at the game, and I'm really close with them. And they needed somebody to clean the place up, make sure everything's secure, stuff like that. So I volunteered. I'm like, hey, I can help you guys with this stuff, blah blah blah. And yeah, that's where I'm at now.
That's awesome, actually. I love to see it. I hang out and Red Streamer a lot, who's another admin, obviously, telling chat more than you. I played it a couple times. We have a couple guys in my chat right now that are actually mid-match and Face It, and they're pretty cracked. They'll probably jump in when we get into the scrim portion. I think the only guests that have been able to beat him so far were Cal. Was the week we had Cal on. It was Cal and Eli, and I think that's the only time that they've actually lost.
Gotcha.
So I think it's gonna be a fun one. Chat, let's open it up now for some questions while we're waiting for Mike to join. What do you guys got, if anything? Otherwise, I will continue rolling with questions. I'm looking. First of all, what zero? No. We will later. I have talked mad crap on Zero for the last week or so because he's the base of Titan. Every time we 1v1, he averages about 23 melee kills and maybe one primary.
Yeah, that is Titan.
Yeah, he's a Titan 100%, so I like to give him a hard time that he doesn't know how to primary. So now he's like gunning for it. Sierra asks, Nervous, do you play other characters?
So here's the interesting thing. For scrims and stuff like where you get to respawn, I 100% prefer Arc Strider Hunter. However, in trials, I 100% prefer Top 3 Dawnblade.
That's admirable. I mean, it's pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty basic.
In tournaments, I would say like a year and a half ago, I used to play Titan. And then I kind of switched off. I started playing Hunter, and I just kind of got tired of Titan, so I stopped playing it.
I feel that. I absolutely feel that. I like to rotate, except for Titan. If I know it's kind of blurry, but behind me I have a nice Hunter logo and a nice Warlock logo.
Respect.
But I don't know what it is. I can't play Titan. I just can't. Like, I give props to good Titan players. I can't do it.
You kind of have to have a different mentality.
Hold W and punch.
Yeah, and shotgun. I've never seen anybody like do good while sniping on Titan.
Right. I feel attacked. Sierra is a killer Titan. I need to keep an eye on the Discord too to make sure that I'm not just leaving him in general chat. Oh, I definitely left him in general chat. Yo, Mike, I definitely left you in gen chat. My bad.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Good, good. How was your ending of Warzone? Did you win? Did I disconnect you?
General.
Yeah.
Hey, he's back.
We're back. I don't know how I moved myself to Gen, but it happens. How was Warzone? Did you win?
We finished second one game. You hate to see it.
Oof, you hate to see it.
I know.
But hey, second's still great.
If you're not first, you're last.
That's
so
factual.
Exactly.
So we already did our intros for Mr. Nirvous here. Geekermon, tell us about you. What do you do? Where did you get into this? How'd you start? How'd you start your content creation and streaming?
That is a can of worms right there, man. So the reason that I started a YouTube channel goes all the way back to the first year I was married, 2016. So when I first got married, I started my full-time job and Haley started teaching. And like a month into teaching, she decided she was going to coach volleyball. And I was like, oh yeah, you're already teaching all day. Let's just throw a little something else on top of it. So her hours every day was like, she left to drive like 40 minutes to the school. She left at like before 7 a.m. and then got back after volleyball games and volleyball practices and stuff. Sometimes it was like 8, 9, even 10 p.m. So I work 9 to 5 and then I come home and play Destiny. And all through college and back through high school a little bit, I always grew up I loved watching Call of Duty YouTubers. Back in the day, Pomage, I must have watched his montage from like Modern Warfare 3 100,000 times. And I was like, man, I would use a sniper. I'd like create a class. I'm like, I'm going to be a sniper one day. People were going to watch my montages one day. And so when I was playing, I played a lot with my brother and Halo Zenik, David, back in the day. Ran a lot of trials and it was fun. But I ended up being like, I'm wasting, and I called it wasting, but I literally would come home and just play games until 10. And I was like, I want a way I could take this time and try to do something with it. And so that's when I decided to make my very first Destiny YouTube video. And I watched it back not too long ago. And I'll tell you, it was started from the bottom moment for sure. I was very nervous. And every time I hit go live, it went from this voice to, hey, welcome back, you guys. Today's video, we're going to do this and this. So it's funny to look back and see how much it's adapted since then. But since then, tried to upload. I've missed a lot of days, but I say daily. Tried to upload a lot of videos, and I feel like they've kind of polished, and I've kind of found my market, found my audience, and that's what got us to where we are now.
I love it, man. I got to tell you, so when I first started watching videos, a little over a year ago, year and a half, I've always played. I've been playing since the first alpha, in D1. But I finally watched. I started watching videos, kind of trying to learn some stuff, and your channel was one of the first ones that I found. So I'm really hyped to have you on here. Yeah, it was your channel that was first to find for videos, and then it was Paws's channel for the first streams that I watched, and I found him on YouTube.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was a little over a year ago that I started really looking into it.
Wow.
And from there, I was just like huge support, and then all of a sudden I started rolling into Twitch, and I found all the Scrim players, and I found everybody else that was tied in, and it's the chain that has built like my Twitch and my YouTube channels are like 50-60 followers each. Of people that I tag in and out of for channels.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. It's cool to see how deep the Destiny community is.
It is.
It really it's way beyond the 2 top surface layer people. There's a huge community.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I hang out in people's streams. Like, I hang out in PvE player streams. I don't play
Yeah.
PvE. I did in D1. I have not in D2. Um, and I just because I enjoy the environment. The community of Destiny itself is so, it gets a bad rap, but it's so good.
Yeah,
It really is.
it's a lot of good parts. There's a few rough edges that have tried to bring it down a little bit, but
Mhm.
overall, I would agree. I think it's an excellent community.
Yeah. So let's jump into some questions. Mike, you haven't done very much for scrims, right?
Nope, sure haven't.
Sweet. So that's what we got.
Brand new.
That's what we got Nirvous here for. This is, if you're not aware, Nirvous is an admin for Faceit.
Oh,
and an
nice.
absolutely
Awesome.
insane player. He is nuts.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Nirvous, geek, Nirvous. This
Hello,
is
hello.
what I want to do, is pull like two streamers, content creators together, so that you guys can play together and meet each other. You know,
Yeah.
tie in some strings, building more chains.
I like it.
So we're definitely going to get into a bunch of the scrim stuff. Have you did the tournament, didn't you? Mikowski's tournament?
I did not. I actually was out of town that week, so I missed it.
Man. So you're
Yep.
coming in fully green.
Yep, never
This is gonna be
played.
fun. But I mean, we know that you cracked it at PvP, so this is going to be a fun one.
We'll see if it translates. Yeah,
Did you get a chance to look at the rule sets that I sent you?
I did.
So you can't use your Revoker, you can't use your
Yep.
Summoner, you can't
That's all right.
snipe on spec.
Yep. Yep.
Let's talk classes. What's your class, Mike? What is your favorite class?
So it's changed over time. It started in Destiny 1. I was a huge self-res warlock. That was my go-to. So we had like one of each, because my brother always played Hunter, and he's the guy that kind of got me into Destiny at the time. And then David's always been a Titan from day one. And so I always filled the role of warlock. So I played self-res warlock all the way until the launch of Destiny 2. And since then, the dodging in PvP is so tough to compete with. I just haven't found anything, especially for using a variety of weapons for videos, and for Hunter has kind of become the new main for me. So I would say Top Tree Golden Gun's kind of my go-to.
Okay.
That's my staple. If it's like I got to pick a subclass that I have to play, whether say it's a tournament, say it's not, that would be my I'd quote main. I play all of them for videos and stuff, but that's definitely my go-to.
I like it. That's we went over, you weren't in here when we went over Nervous's, but his is either bottom arc staff or top
like
tree
it.
dawn. So
Bottom arc is deadly.
very
And
much
Top
so.
Tree Dawn is, that is a cracked subclass, dude. Every time that there is a good player with a Top Tree Dawn, I'm like, well, it's the one subclass I can't snipe. They move too fast. I can't keep up with it.
Well, you're on PC now, so you're getting those quick flicks.
True. It's true. Yep. That's exactly right.
You're not turning like you're a raider.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, people make 180s. I'm like, oh, all right.
Flick, there he goes.
Yep.
Sweet. So one of my favorite questions to ask this, for each of your mains, what's one thing that you'd like to see buffed, and what's one thing you'd like to see nerfed?
Solid question.
Makes it hard, right?
All right, I guess I'll go first. So the one thing that I'd like to see buffed is I'm tired of hitting people with a golden gun and not killing them at range in PvP. I jump up, hit a shot, hit the second guy, and the second guy is 180, 185. I'm like, I'm gonna have to fire two. And I know you get a ton of shots, but the second thing that should be buffed, how long the super lasts. Spectral blades last like half a match. Golden gun, I pop it, people hide. I'm like, well, here we are again.
And there it goes.
And nerf, that's tough. I don't know if there's anything in particular. I feel like maybe, the reloading of shots to where you can get like, 10, 12 people with a single super might be a little crazy. But the reason I like Golden Gun is I feel like compared to a lot of subclasses, I feel like it's pretty risk and reward. So I like it because I feel like there's a little bit of a challenge to playing it almost. It's inviting.
Absolutely. I mean, that totally makes sense. I 100% agree. And then I'll share my buffs and nerfs I'd like to see. Nervous, what you got?
So let's start with the nerf. I think personally, I feel like auto rifles should get a little toned down. I would like not too far, but you know, just like in the right.
We'll get into the guns. I'm talking just classes right now.
Oh, classes. Let's see. I think, is it bottom tree or is it top tree striker? I think it's bottom tree, right?
The one that you
Bottom
can
tree, like
cruise across
whichever
the
one
map.
is frontal. Yeah.
Bottom.
Okay, so with bottom tree, I feel like it's a little too long lasting once you get the frontal proc, because you can just like map people with melees and stuff like that. That's honestly my only problem with the subclass at the moment. For buff, I feel like I would like to see a little more things added to tether to make like the neutral game a lot better. Because right now you have spectral, and then you have what is it, the corrosive smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see something other than corrosive smoke to add it to make it viable over choosing spectral.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. I miss the D1 tether. Do y'all remember that?
Yes.
Where you could
Oh,
launch it across the
dude,
map. and
tether
it
needs some
track-
love. Oh man.
Dude, that thing used to track like a truth rocket. You
Yep.
could launch it down the lane, and it's like the guy's up in the air, and it hits him dead in the head.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
And it was a one-hit kill. I'm glad they brought that back, but the tracking's still not up to snuff for where it should
Yep.
be. So for me, and I'm curious to see how this plays out with Stasis coming out, and we'll get into that as well. For Hunter, I think one thing that I'd like to see buff is hit registration on spectral blades.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's
Yeah.
so bad.
It's always like that, where you think you've made the lunge and you've hit somebody. And I would trade better hit registration for a shorter super any day,
Absolutely.
because I fly at people and then I swing, die.
Oh, you've experienced the PC versions now. I've
Mhm.
slammed
Yep.
people and pushed them on my heavy attack. In the
my
air,
God.
just pushed them on heavy attacks. And I'm like, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
the same thing happens on Arc Strider sometimes too. You'll hit people like
Mhm.
once or twice and nothing happens.
Yep. Exactly. I feel like that's a common trend across all, because I'm thinking now to like Sentinel Titan,
Mhm.
the shield always does that.
You
The
launch
shield is
people
the
into
most
walls.
unreliable thing. It's the ranged ones like Hammer, Dawnblade, the ones that are ranged that feel like they're much more consistent.
Yeah, and melee whip consistency too. It just seems
Yep.
like melees themselves, anything that's close range attack, definitely makes the sound effect, but you can't. It doesn't kill. It doesn't even
Yep.
damage some of the times.
Yep.
And as far as nerf goes, for Hunter, I'd like to see a nerf to Bottom's Arc Staff dodge.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's
so
very good.
It's so good. And if it adds in the new exotic where you blink instead of dodge,
Yep.
like I wonder how that's gonna play out. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, it's already hard enough to hit
That's a
if
good
they're
question.
blinking into it too. Or is it gonna end up like a Warlock blink, where if you hit someone as they're blinking, it does 10 times damage?
Well, and that's the thing with Warlock Blink. I feel like it makes it worse, because with Warlock, you blink and it's like your hitbox triples in size. You have
Yep.
like where you left the blink, where you end up, and somewhere in the middle. You could shoot any of that and they take damage.
Not only do they take damage, but it seems like it's multiplied. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
Yep.
It
Oh
definitely,
yeah, definitely.
And I think anything, because I play a lot of Warlock too. I think for one thing that I'd like to see buff for Warlock is I want to see Nova Warp get a buff.
Yeah, it used to be so good, but it was too good. They couldn't
Yep.
find the sweet spot with it.
Yep, and they nerfed it down to nothingness. And I think the only people that I've seen that can still rock it are like Gigs. You know,
Yeah.
Gigs can pop off with it, or Haru is another one that I can't stand running into, just because he is so good with it.
Yep.
And as far as nerfs for a Warlock, nerf Celestial Fire. Please, for God's sakes, nerf that. It's
Celestial Fire is
so
crazy, especially with
good.
the exotics you can pair with it.
And with
Especially
solar
with the
plexus.
mod. Yeah.
Yep.
And with solar plexus
true.
too. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Yep.
That needs it needs something. Quit tracking around boxes.
Yeah.
For sure. Quit tracking around boxes.
It you think you've gotten away, and then you get hit with the melee. It feels bad.
From across the map.
Yep.
All right, let's jump into weapons. What are your favorite weapons? We'll start with Geek because he hasn't done scrims, and then we'll get into what good scrim weapons are, or what you feel most comfortable running in scrims.
Okay.
So, Mike, favorite
Yeah, I was
weapons,
gonna
right?
say. So it'll go. I was gonna say, since no scrims experience, my three favorites have always been Queenbreaker's bow, which rest in peace. That gun used to be in Destiny 2. It was extremely overpowered, and just I mean, you could aim at nothing and fire and kill somebody. And I miss how it was in D1. Now, and it's also because it's a heavy weapon. It's like it's just not it's not viable anymore. I miss the old days when it was a special weapon, but I just thought that was such a unique looking exotic. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it was one of the earlier ones that I ended up getting in Destiny 1 too. So I think it holds a place because I was like, oh man, this gun looks so cool. I think I got it from like Prison of Elders or something back in the day. But yeah, I would say Queenbreakers, Last Word, and Suros are probably my my three go-tos. I know Last Word's banned for scrims, but in pubs and in trials, it's always been so fun because it just pairs so well with a sniper rifle,
Oh, absolutely.
which is on my hip all the time. So it's a nice little pairing.
There's actually a lot of scrim rules that allow Last Word.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Just after the nerf, it's viable in a 1v1 situation, but if you have more than one enemy you're going against,
Yep.
It makes
that's what the dodge is for. That's
Yeah,
the hunter life right there.
Exactly. And it makes it a lot harder to, compete against multiple targets. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, and as far as Last Word goes, it is horrid on M&K.
That's what I've heard.
Horrid.
I've never used it on mouse and keyboard, but it is sticky on
Oh,
controller.
Yeah. On
Holy
controller,
cow.
They nerfed it, or they changed it for controller, but they didn't understand what it was going to do to the PC side.
Yeah.
It's not near as sticky. It's decent, but I wouldn't give it a top tier.
Yeah. Yep.
So
definitely.
that's why it's allowed in some scrims, and some scrim rule sets allow it.
Yep.
All right, what you got, Nervous?
Right, so let's see. First of all, I'm gonna state that I am a sniper main, and I rarely ever use shotguns in scrims. But that being said, I think my top three weapons would be Beloved as number one, and then Bygones and Spare Rations for my next two.
Bygones. Ooh, the pulse rifle. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So
that was not the answer I was expecting.
I do have a roll which has kill clip on it, and which that means is that once I get a kill, I can basically two burst people if I hit all my shots, which is very good, like at long ranges and stuff like that, especially against snipers.
How do you feel about the Cold Denial then? Because Cold Denial can 2-tap without kill clip proc.
Yeah, you see, I tried the Cold Denial and it's alright. I really don't like the slow rate of fire kind of pulse rifles.
Okay. I mean,
I kind of like the medium to high.
I can't stand it either. If I'm using a pulse, my go-to is Last Perdition or Vigilant Swing.
Yeah.
Depending on the trials map usually, or along those lines. Sniper main's awesome. Snipers M&Ks is an impressive feat for sure, because I know a lot of people abuse it on controller. Geek.
Oh, called out. Exposed.
I do it too. I really do. It's so easy. It really is. But I've spent a lot of time trying to learn how to shoddy with a controller. It's just a lot harder on PC.
It's definitely a different play style between the two for sure. Because I feel like I play aggressive with both, but I definitely play much differently with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, since we're already in the talk of M&K versus controller, how do y'all feel about it? You can be open with it.
So my personal opinions is at long ranges, despite having a sniper rifle, I feel like controller is better than M&K. Like if two people were the exact same skill level using the different inputs. However, at close range, I do feel like M&K is a lot better due to the fact that you can like move around super quickly, flick super quickly, stuff like that.
Oh, you mean you can't rotate it at 360? Yeah.
Like yeah, you can just like swipe your hand across the desk and you're instantly looking behind you.
What you got, Mike? I've seen you've been playing M&K lately. How do you feel
I
about
have, but it's interesting. My answer for that varies based on the game. For Destiny specifically, I would have set for Call of Duty, which is what I've been playing mouse and keyboard on. I would say the exact opposite. Long range, you can literally point, click, there's very minimal recoil at range, and you can zap somebody 400 meters away. But close range, the aim assist, I feel like close range fights cater more towards controller players. Like I have a much easier, and I will say I'm new to mouse and keyboard, but I have a much easier time close range with a controller because it just sticks to that person. Now, Destiny, I think is interesting because I feel like I've played a little bit of Destiny on mouse and keyboard, and I feel like it's not aim assist on mouse and keyboard, but it definitely feels much different than other games that I played, which is interesting. And I think you're right. Aim assist is so strong on Destiny that controller or mouse and keyboard, you're going to be pretty even fight. Like I was worried when I made, not when I made the swap, because I was like this week when I made the swap to PC, but when it first came out on PC, I was a little concerned, like, oh man, I'm to go up against mouse and keyboard players. But the more I play it, it feels like I'm not at that much of a disadvantage. And I like the options because I feel like you play with whatever you're more comfortable with. I feel like I want to improve at both, but if I as a controller guy, if I thought mouse and keyboard was 10,000 times better, I would make the swap and grind out until I'm good at it. But I feel like I can be viable enough with a controller, which is nice. So you can kind of have the preference there.
Yeah, I mean my old man brain, I have tried M and K. And tried, and I can hit all my shots as long as I'm not moving.
Yeah.
That's when I start adding in the WASD, I'm stuck. And,
it's taken a long time. Like I finally feel like I have my feet with it, but it definitely has taken a long time to get there for sure.
Absolutely, for sure. All right, we gotta, because I know you're on a pretty tight schedule, Geek. We'll
and I was a little late, so I mean I can stay a couple minutes beyond 11:30. I just have to be up at like 7, so I'll
I'm gonna be up at like 4:30, so we're rocking this out.
Let's do it.
Wednesdays are usually my 22-hour days. So.
Oh man, wow, trooper.
I balance out full-time. I stream in the morning, full-time shift during the day, and then come in for Scrim School, and we run scrims as long as people can hang it. Really.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just take a good nap during lunch.
There you go. There you go.
Kick my seat back
awesome.
and pass out. All right, so let's talk D1 for a sec. What would you bring back as a game mode, PvP wise, from D1 that you miss, or any really any mode? What's something you'd love to bring back if you could pick anything?
I think my top pick would be Salvage, if you remember that game mode.
Mm-hmm.
I did really like the OBJ kind of stuff, as well as like in a 3v3 kind of rule set.
See, everyone's chat's already saying my favorite one for sure. What you got, Mike?
Was it called Rift? The one where you have to grab the ball and dunk it in the far side? That one was fun. I feel like they could do a lot more with game modes than they do. And I know they're trying to maintain, especially with game modes like Trials, where there's a lower player population, they want to maintain minimal playlists. But if they had a rotating one, like Protect the President, or I think there's a lot that they could do objective-wise that would kind of spice up the because right now you hop in, you're like, Control, Clash, Comp, like it's just very basic. You have like 3 options, and those are your options. The other thing they could do, and this just becomes, every time I'm asked about stuff like this, it just becomes like things that Bungie could do with this game.
Right.
But the other thing they could do is have some kind of either leveling, or like you play a lot of other FPS games and multiplayer has its own progressions and camos, and there's things that people spend thousands of hours to try to grind and unlock. The one thing that Destiny's missing beyond like Trials and beyond 5500, I will say Comp has, as bad as parts of Comp are, it at least had that end goal that drove me to play it even when I didn't want to play it. Quick play lacks that. If there was a guaranteed exotic for getting to, a certain level or doing a certain number of PvP things, there's just so much they could do to flush out the multiplayer side besides Control,
I mean, right now, if you really look at it, pretty much what it is it's all Clash with extra steps. Yeah. I mean, Control, who actually cap zones? Let's be real. Clash is Clash.
True.
Supremacy is Clash with extra steps.
Yep.
Survival
Yep.
is Clash, but you lose lives over it. Trials is
Yeah,
one of the few,
it's all the same. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. If there was one where there was like a raid boss that like you had to escort through the map, or there was a lot they could do there.
It's. I'm hopeful. I really am. I'm hoping they bring back some of the old stuff. The rifts, the things like that. What was the other one? Breakthrough was kind of fun. I'd really like to see stuff like that.
Personally, I would also like to see more stuff or more events like Iron Banner, because I feel like Iron Banner is the one that we really have.
Yeah, I agree. And they cut a lot of them. Things like faction rallies. I used to rep Future War Cult all day. And now they brought them. They didn't really do much with them. They left, and then they have never come back since.
Another one.
I mean, I definitely miss Iron Banner rotating modes. That was one of those things too. And call me crazy, I enjoyed Countdown. I did.
Yeah, I didn't play it enough to give an opinion on it.
I liked Countdown from the effect of if you have if the maps were built a little bit differently, where the mine that you plant is spaced out a little different, or it has rotating. If it had like a rotating location where everybody was pushing to, it'd be more like a King of the Hill type style. I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think even something like, I don't know, Destiny's maps play pretty well. Like the quick play maps play pretty well. They could do a lot with different portions of the map. Like what's the one that's in the Dreaming City that's way bigger than it needs to be? They could literally have some kind of game like King of the Hill or hardpoint style game mode where they could use all the different segments of that map. It's a giant map. But instead, the Citadel, you spend the entire game either sniping on the edge and looking at the heavy ammo, or you're sitting in the tunnel in the middle room. Like that's it. The whole match is like that.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then you die and you spawn and you run back to the middle.
It takes you 30 seconds to run to the middle. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
100%.
A lot of opportunity there on the PvP side.
Yep. And on the PvE side, I don't know if you all played PvE, but what's one thing you could bring back? Not a raid that you
Prison of Elders.
Oh man,
I loved it.
Yeah, I agree on that.
It was so unique. I've never seen a PvE have such an end game, but I literally got David, got my brother, and I was like, let's do, because there was a chance for new exotics. There was things that we hadn't unlocked. It was really challenging, but when you beat the hard mode Prison of Elders, it was really, I would even do it solo and just sit in the back and kill one knight at a time to get it done. But we would always do it before the trials run because it was such a unique PvE end game. And I feel like they tried to do a little bit of that with the Reckoning, and it just didn't have the same vibe for me.
It definitely didn't, and I agree. I think the Reckoning could have been really good. It was so close to being good.
Yep.
It really was. And I think for me, I would definitely pick the Alakul strike, the Dark Blade.
Oh yeah.
That strike you could play so often, and it's so much fun. It really is.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it every time I jumped in there in hard mode. You had the extra boss you had to try and kill to get that special exotic weapon. It was.
But see, in D1, the strikes mattered though, because strike specific loot. I played that strike where the two guys, the
brothers.
It's what was it?
The brothers.
Yes, the brothers.
Yes.
It was on the Dreadnought.
Yep.
Dude, I played that strike just to get those arms for the Titan. Yep. I must have played it 1,000 times, but I played it. Destiny 2, strikes are irrelevant to me. I don't care about running strikes. But in D1, I ran the one with the hand cannon that was the same as the Vex. I'm blanking on the name now. Imogen Heap, maybe something like that. It was like the white one that was basically the I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah.
They need to bring stuff like that back.
I agree. Give us strike specific loot. Give us something to grind for, but not bounties. That's what I feel. I really do. And I love
the Imago loop from D1.
Yeah.
See, I played that strike so many times.
Yeah,
just for that.
Too. They're like the Imago loop. That's it.
Yep.
It was something worth grinding for. It really was. It was the Prison of Elders was something to grind for. The strikes were something to grind for. shit, even the raids. I built a Titan in D1 just so that I could do raid sherping for King's Fall.
Yep.
That was
the King's Fall raid, dude. It was like, get the crew. We're running the raid tonight. I don't care if it takes 5 hours. Destiny 2, I just had I've done a few raids and stuff, but it's mostly because chat and people are like, you know what'd be fun if you did a raid. It's not like there's a drive for me to do the raids. I don't know why, but that urge to play or the reason to play is missing in some areas.
Absolutely. I agree. I really do. And I'd love to, I'm hopeful that, I know we say this every single season, every single time.
I know. It's Stockholm
it's
Syndrome.
Really
I literally say it. I've said it every expansion since I remember, I think it was Destiny 1, probably 2017 maybe, when they nerfed No Land Beyond.
Oh,
and they came out and they brought all their the developers into this same lobby and they did a live stream. And I'll never forget, this is the moment when I decided I just gotta take what is given to me when it comes to Destiny and not expect, because they were gonna balance. It had been left the current meta for like a year and they went to balance it. And the guy who designed one of the hand cannons was one of the devs in the match. They load into Bannerfall and Deej is like, all right, everybody, let's meet at the middle of the map and we'll talk about the buffs and nerfs. I think it was Luke Smith actually saying it. And this dev that made the gun could not find the center of Bannerfall where the tree was. He was in the spawn facing the wrong way. And he had to be guided from Luke to get to the middle of the map. And then they announced they were nerfing landfall. And I was like, the whole stream, I was like, my hopes were way too high for this. They were way too high. The PvP side, I feel like, is sadly just not the primary focus, which I get. I feel like 80% of the game is PvE. I get that. But then I look across to games like Call of Duty where they patch notes. They come out with stuff often because they know we got a big multiplayer audience.
Yep.
I wish the same passion was there for Destiny because it could be so great. I mean, the game is so unique. You got exotics, you got subclasses that don't feel like an ult. I don't feel like my super is the same as an ult that every other game has. It's got a unique personality because it's got that RPG side to the game. But there's just a lot of opportunity missed on the they just ignore it for a long time, and then they'll come out with a new map or something, but it's not anything. If they came out and they said, all right, we are nerfing Gnawing Hunger's damage by 1 tick, we're just frequent, like Overwatch level patch notes that were tweaks, that would be so nice if they did that once a month. But instead it's like, well, we'll hope for November. We have Season of the Lost, so I buy an ornament.
We'll run the sandbox for the rest of the season, see how it plays out. I think the only time I've ever seen them do a mid sandbox nerf was Hardlight.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's very rare. It takes like a game breaking, like laser tag level.
Yeah, that was so much fun. That was my favorite weekend, I think, of all time.
They could do stuff like that too. They could do. Oh, go ahead. No, I've been talking the whole time. You got it.
Go ahead, Nerd.
Do you guys remember the Prometheus Lens Trials weekend?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a problem.
The laser tag weekend, where you're just doing 10 times damage, and the only way you could win was by getting the first shot off.
Something else.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into weapons, and we'll start with Nerd. If you could bring back any weapon from D1, doesn't have to be an exotic, or you can do an exotic and a legendary, what would it be pre-nerf?
An exotic sniper rifle. If you guys remember, it's called Patience in Time. Was
oh yeah,
weapons in D1. That's what I would bring back.
Okay, what you got, Mike?
I would probably say No Land Beyond. Now that snipers can be in any slot, you could even put sniper ammo economy on it. I just loved how that weapon played. It was so fun to use, and it felt very unique. Yep. Exactly. So if they made it, special weapon, and they made it just like it was in D1, I feel like it would be a ton of fun to use. The other one that I miss is the Titan AR.
Was it the one with the shield on it?
Fabian Strategy, I think. Yeah. With the shield. That one was so fun. I don't know why. It wasn't that it was that good. It was just a fun weapon to use. And it was
Yeah.
one of those class-specific weapons that they tested for, like, they did that in D2 with the swords. They're like, here's
Mhm.
one class-specific. We're never going to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. I think for mine, my exotic would have to be Vex Mythoclast.
Ooh. Yeah.
Pre-nerf
The
Vex
raid.
Mythoclast was so much fun.
Oh, it's so
It
good.
was so much fun. It was the most toxic weapon you could possibly use, but it was so much fun.
Yep.
It really was. And then for legendary, I want the Harrowed Defiance of Yasmin. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Ooh,
That was a really
yeah,
good
that
sniper.
sniper with the cool scope on it.
Yep.
Mhm.
I
Taken
liked
King sniper.
the Halo. It was pretty much the Halo.
Yeah, it
sniper
was.
rifle is
Yep.
what it felt like. I loved that. I used it more than the 1,000-yard stare. I used it more than any, like, it was either No Land Beyond or Hard Defiance of Yasmin. I never took that thing off because that was back when snipers were viable in PvE, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there was a lot of good guns they never brought back, which is really interesting. Like the raid ones, maybe they'll bring them back with the content vault with the raid. But
Mhm.
even beyond that, like they never brought. There was Zalo. There were so
Zalo was
many.
so much fun,
First
too.
Curse was a really unique one. It was like, was it 110?
What was
Oh,
that
there-
sidearm? There was an exotic sidearm, not the Dreg's Promise, but the other one.
Trespasser.
Yes, Trespasser. That one was a lot of fun too.
The Trespasser. I forgot about that
It
guy.
was like a burst, wasn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
it shredded. It shredded
Yep.
so much. Chat saying the LDR, the Necrochasm. They're also saying the Myth Class too.
The
I gotta
only ones
say-
I wouldn't bring as exotics are all the raid ones. I did not like when they were like, surprise, all raid weapons are exotic. Like, nah, you're still
Nah,
legendary to me.
right. That's very, very, very true. I'm curious to see what they bring back for when they start unvaulting the raids. Because I mean, we know that we're getting Vaulted Glass back.
Yep.
The Mythoclast and the Necrochasm came from Vaulted Glass. So I'm curious to see
Yeah.
how it goes down.
I bet they'll bring them back.
I would hope so. I would love to see it back. I really do. All right, we're gonna do one more question. I'm gonna ask one more question, then we'll open up for chat for about, say, 10 minutes or so, and then we'll jump into some actual scrims. We had the trailer today about Stasis. What do you guys think about the exotics they announced? How do you feel about the sniper? How do you feel about the exotic armor? I mean, we know the chainsaw sword from Gears of War looks amazing.
All right.
Nerf,
I
I'll
guess
let
we
you
can
go first. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So the sniper rifle. Let's start with that. Headshots give like a lightning bolt or whatever it's called. I
I'm
feel like
pretty
that's a
excited about it.
really, really cool concept. However, if they do not get rid of cheaters, with that paired with aimbot will be a nightmare.
It's gonna be like Dune Marchers everywhere.
Yep. So I'm excited, but I really hope that they also fix the current problems that we have.
Sure. And I mean, I'm seeing stuff like that. And it's not an engine fix, but they're definitely doing a base software fix,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool. I'm excited to see how the physics system works versus the world system. How do you feel about the exotic armor, Nerd? What do you got?
So honestly, the thing that caught my eye was the I think it was the necrotic grips or whatever it was called,
Mhm.
where it gives like that AoE poison kind of thing.
Yep.
That was really interesting to me. I feel like that would play very well with like a shotgun or something like that.
Oh, 100%. My concern with that is it only close range melees, or is it going to proc with something like Celestial Fire?
I did not think about that. That's a good idea. Or a good
That's scary.
question. That does sound scary.
That's very scary. Or the less used but still just as deadly, the Chaos Reach melee. Are you gonna arc somebody, zap them, and then they'll get hit with poison?
Yeah, I don't feel like it would work, but you never know. It's Destiny.
That's true. It might be something that they push out and then push back for sure.
Yeah.
Mike, what you got?
So, I'll say all of them look exciting. I'll say the thing for me, the difference with exotics in D2 versus Destiny 1 is in Destiny 1, they didn't use like here's a list of exotics that will be in the game and here's what they do as promo material. And the problem with doing that, my concern about doing that is they did it for Shadowkeep. I
Mhm.
see the list that they have right there, which is awesome. But my concern is that I'll play. There will be, a few, probably 3 new exotics for each subclass, kind of like what they did with Shadowkeep. They'll have a few new exotic weapons, most of which have been promo material. And there won't be any more like RNG world loot exotics to hunt. Destiny 1, it took me and I played a lot of D1. Now I didn't raid every week kind of thing, but I played a lot and it took me months and I waited for Xur. Like I was out of town and I texted my brother and I'm like, "Hey, hop on my Xbox real quick. Suros is here this week and I don't have it. Please buy it." Like I've been saving up the strange coins. I grinded to get these coins. I want Xur to be here. We got to figure out where he is. I got to buy it. In Destiny 2, I feel like so quickly what happens and I don't play 8 hours, 10 hours a day. I play like 3 or 4 in the evenings and not every day. And what happens is you burn through all of the exotics so quickly that there's not a chase for it. I want that like cat and mouse chase for it. Then what'll happen is I'm expecting this. This is a little like what I think will happen is that same as Shadowkeep, there will be a few time-gated exotic quests that come 2 months down the line that are like, here's a new exotic that comes in. You do like 3 or 4 steps to try to get this. But beyond that, I wish that they had I wish I did a Nightfall and there was like a 1% chance of getting some, and somebody in my chat or somebody that was on Twitter posted a picture and they're like, I ran this strike. I got this specific exotic. I didn't even know this was in the game. That would be such a cool moment. Like the not knowing is what makes it fun. When you know, all right, well, there's 3 new ones. I got 2 of them playing the story mission the first week. So I have 1 exotic. I'll buy it when Xur gets here and you're done in a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is one thing I talked to my friends about today. How like it kind of ruins the element of surprise when they just kind of reveal everything before the DLC comes out. Because like in D1, you would get something that you had no idea that even existed, and now
and you thought you were so special too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally, I get a gun and I would go show my friends. I'm like, look at this exotic, and none of them would have it, and they're like, I didn't even know that was in the game. That doesn't happen today. Like today, everybody is on it.
Xur selling Galahorn for 1 week.
Yes.
And then nobody had it and they realized how
no
good
one
it was.
bought it. That's exactly right.
I had it day 1 and I was like, this thing is amazing.
Yep. That chase is the reason to do strikes, the reason to do raids, the reason to run trials is I feel like right now there's just too many ways to easily get exotics to where that grind kind of disappears.
Yep. And I want to see another 0-hour type quest for an exotic.
Yes, that was great. Very well done.
Time gated.
And a little bit replayable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was fun. It really was.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna open it up for chat. Chat, what kind of questions do you have for these fine gentlemen? PvP questions, Scrim questions. What you got? Otherwise, Mike, if you have any questions about Scrims, you're more than welcome to ask Nirvous while we're waiting for chat to type. Yeah, we'll do this for about 5 or so minutes, and then we'll go play on. First off, why did you pick Retribution? I need to ask.
I love that map, dude. I love that map. I know it's not a Scrims map, but I'm sad it's going away with Beyond Light. I feel like every time that I play that map, it plays so smoothly to where I feel like I'm always in the action or on the verge of being in the action all the time. Like you spawn in, you can go left, you can go right. There's already red on your radar. There's not like a wait to, I'm going to run over here. Maybe there'll be people. And then you get over there. There's no one over there. They've spawned on the other side. You run back over. Like literally in Death Donut, you hop in, you let a slide around and be ready to fight immediately. I don't know. I enjoy it. I think it's a fast-paced map, which I appreciate.
I have been trying to make this map, Scrim map, for like 3 seasons now. So I feel you. All right. So Dredgen says, thoughts about adapting to a 1v1 comp mode? Nerve, what you got?
I feel like it would be interesting. However, I feel like the maps would have to be smaller to like keep it more. What's the right word? Keep it more.
Fluid?
fluid, yeah, and you have to feel immersed. Because like if you have it on a big map, like even Jav, let's say, like you'll see them every now and then, but like it's not like you're always in the action.
Mhm.
Like he could just run away like the whole game, and you can't even like you know
Yep.
chase him. So aside from that, I feel like it'd be a good idea.
I think that'd be fun. Mike, what you got? How do you feel?
I feel like they could do more if they had more maps. And I know it's like, I don't know how many we have complaining about the number of maps that we have, but I feel like if they had, they used to have the PvP game mode that had like stuff you could drive in it, you know, like big mosh
God,
pit
the
style
map.
maps.
I
And
remember
I feel
that.
like they could do small maps, 6v6 maps, and big maps. And they could have, I mean, First Light's in, it's on the moon. That one used to be one of the big mosh pit ones. But
Yeah.
I feel like it would be super cool if they did like a 1v1 tournament and say it was like a you know, limited time game mode that they came out with 1v1s. And if you won like 7 in a row or something, you got pinnacle gear or something. That, I mean, I feel like people would play that. That would be super fun. You would have to do smaller maps than what we have today. I feel like Dead Cliffs, maybe Javelin. There's a few you could play, but not a ton.
Yeah, it'd have to be like call me crazy. Gambler's Ruin for a 1v1 map is actually kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't mind that map, but I also didn't play PlayStation, so by the time people were burned out on it, it was like a new map to me. I was like, hey.
I played it on PlayStation a lot when it was in the comp playlist. I was doing a lot of comp help, and that map came up a lot.
Yeah.
All right, chat. What else you got for questions? While we're waiting, I'm sure, Mike, you have questions. I hope.
Yeah, I do. So why don't you give me a rundown on what the basic, like, what do controller players normally run for this? What's the most common loadout?
I can tell you, I do know Sergio or Sayeryu. He does run Beloved and what is that? I think it's Dire. But there's also Leclerc who runs once again the sniper, and he switches back and forth between Dire, Spare, and Last Word if the rules allow it.
Yeah, I mean Sergio and Leclerc both use a sniper hand cannon. That's their go-to.
Okay.
Inspirational in chat uses sniper hand cannon, Spare Dire sniper rifle, or Thorn Dire Spare sniper rifle. You're obviously allowed only one Thorn on the team. Usually, if there's a Titan, you want to hand the Thorn to the Titan because Thorn Burn procs knockout.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Which gives you a nice little boost, and it keeps knockout running. There's a lot of high-end controller players in scrims and Face It.
That's awesome.
Drewski's another great example of a controller player that can really, really play well.
Does he use NF?
He actually
does
likes
he use
Sunshot.
Sunshot, really?
Drewski loves
Wow.
Sunshot. He put out a
Now,
video of it not too long ago.
used Sunshot on PC. I wonder if it's different.
It is. It's very different. It's very smooth.
It's bad on console.
Yeah, on PC, I think the recoil on everything is about half. So
yeah, it
NF,
feels like that for sure.
Sunshot feels like an NF with Firefly at the end. So you can get some crazy shots if you have a primary sniper like a Eye of Soul, or if you're running an Astral Horizon. I see a lot of Astral Horizons and a Sunshot.
Interesting.
Ace of Spades shoots really good on PC as well. All right, what else? Hold on, I saw one from Inspirational. Let me see what he said. He said, "How do you adapt? So how you adapt to the people playing in the back of the map? How do you adapt to people playing in the back of the map? Spawn camping. That was tough."
So, personally, I get made fun of this sometimes, but people say that I play gun game, and what they mean by that is like if someone is playing in the back of the map, I'll just put on a pulse rifle, something long range, so that I can at least like put out enough damage for my teammates to like push with me to get the guaranteed kill. Because if you push him with a hand cannon, he's like all the way in the back of the map. You're gonna put in chip damage, but he's most likely gonna snipe you before you get to do that.
That's true. And he's definitely talking specifically about Face It. And I'm gonna ask the next question he's going to ask beforehand, because I know that this goes. He asks this every single week, and he loves to hear the responses from all the guests. Say you're down in a Face It match. or a survival match or something that's really like tournament style, right? And your team's starting to get tilted, starting to get angry, starting to lose their gusto. How do you pick them back up?
I would say you would want to try to like take control of like the two people that you're with, like, you know, try to give them constructive criticism, not too much to the point where they get even more mad, but just like, you know, try to relax them and try to tell them what they could do better or what they messed up on, that they can improve on, as well as making sure that they know that like it's not over yet. Like that mentality is very bad, and that's like that mentality makes a lot of teams lose just because they give up before they even lose. So like getting them out of that mentality that they think they lost when they actually are still in the game is pretty helpful.
I love it. I do. That's perfect. And we can ask more questions. I know we're kind of stretching over on time a little bit, and I wanted to make sure we got some playtime in. So chat, if you have questions, we're going to go on a be right back screen. I'll let the gents get some water, go to the bathroom. We're going to switch over to the practical. If you still have questions, ask. To the both of you, please put your socials in chat. Put your Twitter, your Twitch, your YouTube, OnlyFans if you got it, whatever you want. And I expect chat to go follow. Go show some love to these two gents for coming on here, answering your guys' questions. Yeah. So let's get some socials in chat, and let's switch over to the practical portion. That way we can get some fun little game time in.
Sweet.
Good.
Sounds
Sweet.
good.
I'm going to switch this to be right back. They can still hear you guys talking when I switch, so if they have any questions, they can still ask. And then if you guys want to grab some water or anything, easy peasy.
Cool. Sounds great. You want me to post the